have you been affected with people recognizing you on the streets, stuff like that?
It has happened to me a couple of times. I mean, and I like it. It's nothing
Too creepy, no stalkers, nothing yet.
I think I had an experience twice.
What I think what considers a stalker becomes also a big question, because when there's a fine line between a fan and a stalker.
Agree. So once some follower of mine commented saying I'm a pig or something like that along those lines. It was many years ago. And at that time I was working at IBM and my followers already knew I was working at IBM. And this follower sent something to my office, the IBM building, and then the receptionist trying to find out who Naomi D'Souza is, because I responded to that comment, and again, I don't remember quote verbatim what I exactly said, but whatever I said, she felt guilty about it. And then she sent flowers to the office, and I found that extremely creepy.
Was that a woman who sent you that message?
I don't know. It was just said as something. It was a woman name. It was a female username.
I feel like it was.
But it was a.
That's a technique.
Private account.
No. That's a technique. I feel like that was.
Yeah, which is why I'm saying her. So and then she sent flowers. Imagine to an office, like IBM building is big on its own, and they're trying to find out who this Naomi D'Souza is, and then I get a call from security or something. And then I had to go to the office because I was on client side. And then I had to go to the office and I got these flowers and I found that so creepy. So yeah, I just don't really reveal where I am exactly, like at that given time. Like if I'm at a hotel, like I would rarely say, okay, I am over there.
Do you get any requests for feet pics and stuff like that?
Oh my God, all the time.
Yeah?
All the time. Yeah, I get messages. Someone wants to see pictures of my feet. Some just of my toes. Some want to suck on my toes. And some want to suck on my nails. I don't know why, but I used to get such creepy messages. They really want to, they're like, grow your nails longer because I want to suck on it. And even the toes one especially was so creepy. Like, I get that so often. I don't understand what kind of fetishes are people into, but I mean, to each their own.
I promise you, as soon as I brought up that question, we would switch to middle camera, and I bet you people are looking right now. I guarantee you. I guarantee you. It
was so creepy. I'm like, what's with my toes? Like, why are you guys so creepy?
My favorite answer to that story, because I asked that to all the female influencers that come on the show. My favorite one was I don't remember who it was, but they said to me, yeah, I got that message, and somebody messaged me like they have like show me your I really love your feet. Well, I really love your feet. My favorite reply was from a girl who said, yeah, some guy texted me that he really loves my feet, and she looked really confused, and I was like, are you confused because of the comment or whatever? And she's like, because I've never posted a picture with my feet.
Oh my God. So he must be zooming into like pictures of her, like full body pictures and stuff, right?
I don't know.
Probably.
I don't know. She was like, she said, this was by Vedam. She said, I've never posted anything with my feet.
That's so creepy.
Or he's just copying and pasting that message to like hundreds of different girls.
Maybe.
And just waiting for the ones that reply to...
No, so basically on my stories, like say for example, I did my nails and I'll be posting it. They'll reply to that story. Or even my toes, if I've gotten a fresh pedi or new sandals and I'll post it, they'll reply to that story.
Give the people what they want.
Yeah. Hey, listen, don't say that. I just want to show my cute nanny, okay? No, and now that I got married and there are pictures of my husband online and I'm not secretive about it, and I still get marriage proposals. And that's a weird one as well. And I'm like, literally the first picture is like of my husband and you're asking like for my hand or whatever. So there are extremely creepy people online.
Do you think that if you would have gotten if you would have gotten more famous and haven't been married, you would have potentially found a very different husband just because of social media and recognition?
Oh, that's a deep question. And what so happens is, at least in the Asian household or in the Indian community, there are these kind of guys who exist, but they want a woman who's completely perfect.
Sure.
Like they want an Angelina Jolie.
Sure.
You know what I mean? So I think that is
you gotta have
quite
targets, no?
hypocritical.
right? So
I love your one-liners, by the way.
you know,
Yeah, but it's so hypocritical. I mean, have you seen yourself?
a man's reach should exceed his grasp. For what else is heaven for? Right? I mean,
yeah, everyone has their targets and their goals, but I mean, yeah, I wish it wasn't like that.
why? You cannot tell me that your girlfriends don't have an envision of what the perfect man for them would be. Let's be honest here.
They do.
Whether it be Brad Pitt or Tom Cruise or whoever they're into.
No, they do. No, I think every
or whatever
single
that's called.
I think every single person, if they're looking for a potential partner, they all have their list, like their checklist. Okay, I want X, Y, Z, and if they don't meet that criteria, they just don't go ahead with the person. But I'm saying when it's a love marriage, you don't really like that list. Sometimes just gets thrown into the bin. Because it's a love marriage.
I know.
Like it starts with compatibility.
Right. I mean, even if it's a love
know?
marriage, I mean, you can fancy someone, which I'm sure you have at some point in your life. But when you found out that they do X, Y, Z,
exactly, and then you just leave that. Yeah, it doesn't work anymore.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
The thing that you liked about them suddenly, ew. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Like that's a deal breaker. A deal breaker, basically. Yeah.
Right. And so I think love is an evolution of liking. Woody Allen used to say, it's always great to marry rich, especially when you're rich. So
I get what you mean. Like you just want to marry within the...
Exactly.
I get it.
Right?
I get it.
You know?
Yeah, it's kind of like what Prince Harry did, right? I like them though.
But
do you like them? No, tell me, do you like them? You don't?
I don't like Meghan Markle. You know what?
I like Meghan Markle.
You know what? Come on. You don't air your family's laundry out to public. That's
but
such
she didn't
low
do
class.
that. The father did that.
When you think the father wasn't motivated by the wife? You think after 40 years?
See, we don't know what happens behind closed doors.
Oh, come on.
We don't know what happens behind closed doors. That's my policy.
He had all the opportunities throughout his entire life to go and speak about it. And suddenly now, he meets
Maybe
this
he
woman.
wanted money. Because he got paid like $100,000 or something just for that one paparazzi picture. When something is difficult, you will do anything to get through it.
No.
I like Meghan Markle. I mean, there are quite a few people who don't.
I think she's a fucking bitch.
You think she's fake?
I think she's a fucking bitch. That's as far as I'll push it.
You're so mean.
Not being mean. I think what she's done is like horrible.
What did she do?
Air the dirty laundry of the family. The grandparents called me aside and was worried about our son being mixed race. They're racist. All this kind of stuff. Well, what do you expect? I mean, they're royalty and they're from an older generation. Are you really that surprised that they're going to be concerned?
Everyone is speaking about her story, and I think she has the right to speak her own.
I disagree.
Okay.
Because first of all, I don't think you have a right
okay.
to speak your own story. I mean, you have a right.
Why not?
You have a right to.
If people were shitting on me, which people have many a times, there is a point where I will explode.
This is really
and I want to speak about my story.
This generation.
What generation? How old are you, by the way?
31.
Okay, so we're kind of from the same generation.
How old are you?
I'm like 30. I'm turning 30 next year.
Okay, because
we're pretty much the same.
I don't know. Maybe you grew up in a more Western household, because I can tell you this idea of being individualistic and all your decisions are based about me and I'm number one and I don't have to worry about anything else. And my family face, who cares about that?
Are you saying we're not narcissistic?
Enormously so.
I don't think so. I think everyone has the right to speak their story.
I disagree. Because if she didn't want to be a fame whore, she didn't have to be a fame whore, right?
She was an actress. She got into it. Like, for example, someone who gets into social media, we can't tell them they're fame whores. We can't do that because social media as well. Like, what did Jennifer Aniston say a few months ago? And she got a lot of hate for it. She said something along the lines of celebrities. I mean, the concept of celebrities has become so like loosened up now because anyone can become a celebrity. Like all these makeup artists, Jeffree Star, James Charles, like all these people. those TikTokers as well. Yeah, Charlie D'Amelio, like all those TikTokers. They're all considered celebrities now. But I'm saying sometimes you just fall into it. Like, doesn't make them fame whores.
Listen.
Or like celebrities like Shah Rukh Khan and all these people. Like they suffered.
Come on.
We can't say he's a fame whore.
Get off it.
We can't say he's a fame whore.
Get off it. They make decisions based on what's going to give them the most clout. Let's wait. Let me finish. Right, when you're sitting there and it was sitting there in an office or sitting there in a meeting, going, what can I post to get the most amount of attention? You're a fame whore at that perspective. You're not doing it for any other reason other than to get clout and other than to get whatever views and comments and whatever else. And if that's your mission, that's fine. That's fine.
But like, for example, prostitution, right? In example, I'm saying if they're in need of money, like especially now after COVID, recession, there are people who want to also make easy money, and that exists. Okay, I think we are speaking from an entitled point of view, just because we may have
How much
money.
of a coconut are you?
What?
Jesus
I'm just saying.
You're more Gora than white people.
Why? I'm just saying everyone can make a decision. Like it's their choice. Like I was saying, prostitution. Like they want to get into it. Probably they had difficult times and then they get into that. But we can't really judge them. Yes, there are some people who just want to get into it because they're fame whores or whatever. But sometimes people do it because they want easy income as well. And I have seen those kind of people who exist.
First, let's.
So I don't think they're fame whores. That's what I mean.
Let's separate.
We can't generalize, Hamad.
Yes, we have to generalize because
no, we cannot. Generalizing is not good.
Generalizing is how we have to function as a species.
Oh my God. No.
Now let's separate these two for a second.
If one dog attacks the owner, doesn't mean all dogs are like that.
Yeah, but all dogs can attack owners.
It's like men. Like if I say all men are the same, all men cheat. Do you agree with that? Do you agree all men cheat?
I think in context, sure.
What does context mean? It's just a yes or a no question.
In the context of what you refer to as cheating. Relationship, money.
Cheating as in... Okay. Let me define that. Cheating as in like you're flirting with another woman when you are committed to one. So you think all men cheat?
I think so. If that considers cheating, flirting, yeah, definitely. You've managed to turn men into a product of desire. This is amazing.
I'm not.
Yes, you did.
I'm not.
Yes, you did.
No.
You're like, they have a sunglass. If they have 6
I'm speaking. I said pretty too. I said pretty too.
You did one thing that all women hate what men do, turning them into objects. And you
But I just said, no, if my husband were to see a woman and say she's pretty, I don't think that's cheating.
I love how you just managed to objectify men. I'm so happy.
You love putting words in my mouth, right?
No, it's not me putting words in your mouth.
No,
I'm just illuminating.
I was trying to explain to you what cheating means. So I was trying to give you descriptions. Like if a woman were to say that, or if a guy were to say she's pretty, which I did say, I don't think there's anything wrong with that. That's what I'm trying to say.
My grandma used to always say, as long as he doesn't bring a child back home, I don't care what he does. So when I asked my granddad, like he just looked at me and said, "I'll kill her." So like a drop of a hat. There was no pause. There was no thinking.
That's wrong. I think the women who are going through this with so and so man, they're the ones who struggle at the end.
I don't think that men. I think men and women cheat in a relationship because they're unsatisfied in a relationship. I think that's an oversimplified way of saying it. I think some of them cheat just because they can.
I think everyone can.
But it's not. I don't want to boil it down like that. That you or your partner are simply not satisfied, and therefore you cheat. I think there are people who are very happy to be in a relationship and feel like that.
Yeah, they just want the thrill. They want the adventure, and then that's how it.
I think it's deeper than that. I think they're. I know from my life that I've been with a girl that she, at least the feeling I got from her was that she was so happy and so lucky felt so lucky that I was in her life and all this kind of stuff. Kind of like almost where you feel like, hey, listen, I'm just your boyfriend,
Yeah, okay. I get what you mean.
Right, but she felt like I don't know, like I rescued someone from a car crash. Do you know what I mean? That kind of like
But
overwhelming. But at the same
But I
time,
think women do that.
but at the same time, she cheated.
Oh God, what?
Yeah, and I think,
Ouch.
well, when I look at it, when I look back on it, I think that she felt she wasn't good enough
Yeah.
in her own mind. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Like I never insinuated that, but I think she felt like she wasn't good enough, and therefore, because she wasn't good enough, she had to cheat in order to prove to herself that she's like a piece of shit. Do you kind of get what I mean?
I like the ending.
Right?
You were going so slow and like so motivational. They're like, oh, just a piece of shit.
Yes. Like some people hurt themselves in order to
No, I get what
hurt
you
themselves. It's weird. I don't really get it, but they do.
And I mean, the fact of the matter is, there are a lot of people who do cheat.
There's a lot of people who are mentally ill too.
Yeah, 100%. But my point is that we cannot generalize that everyone does.
I think everyone does.
Oh,
I think,
stop it.
Stop. People aren't unique, and people are more similar than they are different. Like we have this like obsession
is true.
that our identity somehow is like this incredible matter. There's been 100 billion people on this planet Earth, yet everyone assumes that they are somehow divine, and everyone else is an NPC.
I don't think it's divine. I just think it's being committed. Have you watched Too Hot to Handle?
I do not watch stuff like that.
There's no point me explaining the remaining then.
Okay, I'll put it on the list of things I will never watch.
No, I think it's an interesting watch because it's like you kind of see that some people, like I get what you mean about having a conscience and a guilty conscience, or like a mind and being like, oh no, I'll not do so and so. But I think some people have less of that.
Less of a conscience, you mean? I think some people,
Yeah.
I believe that's...
Because you don't care how the person you're with will feel.
No.
That's what I mean. Like a complete disregard.
I believe that there is a part of that you're completely right on. And there are
Wow,
psychopaths.
you agreed to something I said?
There are psychopaths. And I think the asterisk here is that I don't think that they're necessarily psychopaths. I believe that they get told that you're bad or you're evil or whatever so often
Yeah.
that they then self-justify it by doing actions to prove that statement. Psychopaths take up the majority field of CEO positions and politicians.
I've heard that.
Yeah, so maybe you want to be careful what you say about your boss.
I am the boss now.
Yeah? You're the big boss of IBM?
I'm not. I don't work at IBM.
I know.
No, I have my own company.
Okay, what do you do as your own company?
So then I'm a psychopath, huh?
Statistically.
It's a media company. It's a marketing agency. It's all social media. Didn't think you'd be interested.
How does that work it out for you?
It's really good. Touch wood. It's really good. It's just that
The numbers I was saying, was that anywhere in the ballpark of what you're hearing as well? Or is that, because this is just from the influencers I've been talking to. So they might just been...
No, I think in general, okay, first of all, this is marketing. It's not influencer marketing. It's not an influencer marketing agencies. But of course, being in the field, I know some of it. So some person could charge $2,000. Some person could charge 2,000 dirhams. You get what I mean? I think it's just person to person.
But
it's
$200,000
there's no rule
a month? Does that sound...
No, that sounds... No, I think that's too far-fetched.
Okay.
In my honest opinion, I think that's a bit too far-fetched. I don't think
a lot of
someone
people...
makes... Yeah, a lot of people just chatter and exaggerate their position or stance just to make themselves sound cool.
Ego, yeah.
But no, for sure, no. Like an influencer, no.
Okay.
At least, I mean, from what you said, 80,000 followers, no.
How much are you charging for a restaurant?
Oh no, I can't reveal that. I think it's varied. No.
Why are you so hesitant of mentioning your price point?
It's like asking someone's salary. $1,500.
Okay. Cool.
In comparison to any other country in the world, UAE is most saturated with influencers in comparison to influencers. The ratio between influencers and population. So UAE is one of the highest countries that is saturated with influencers. So that being said, if I quote $1,500, there will definitely be someone who's quoting way higher, who has the same followers as exactly, or way lower. So on an average, you'll always hear $1,000, $2,000 ish running around. And the thing is, if it's a big brand, sometimes they want to cut the budgets, right? So they'll and then the influencer will say, okay.
There's also a really interesting topic when it comes to men and women in this exact perspective, and that's with Twitter and Elon Musk.
Oh my God.
That's fascinating.
That's like chaos.
You say it's chaos. I truly believe in order to succeed in the media world, you have to start a dumpster fire after dumpster fire. You can never stop. You can never apologize. You just have to keep rolling. The moment you stop is the moment things crashing down.
No, agree. Like, keep doing something different. Try something new.
No, we're talking different languages.
What are you talking about?
Trump, Elon Musk, Joe Rogan. You have to go from one controversy to another, and you can never stop.
But do you really require like those many controversies?
I think that's the only way to stay,
to stir up social media and be relevant.
To be relevant, clout chasing, fame wars, however you want to define it.
Elon Musk is a fame whore?
I would say so, absolutely. He wants Twitter to be as big as possible. And the way to do that is to make sure that everyone just wants to be on Twitter to see the next controversy. Everyone wants to rubberneck when a car accident happens. But some strategies
are ridiculous that he's coming up with. Like, God knows if it's intentional or not.
Of course it is.
I mean, he's a very smart guy.
A man cannot send a missile into space.
Literally, and make a stupid Twitter decision. Like, I don't know. It does seem intentional.
And listen, I'm not saying that he's, everything he touches turns to gold. That's not what I'm insinuating at all. And people are fallible and can make mistakes. But I think to discredit a man who took an electric car and made it into a functioning product that people are purchasing, discrediting a man who managed to act, he was the first company on the planet to privatize space. I don't love him in the sense that I need to suck his dick. It's not what I'm insinuating at all. I just think it's crazy from people in the media discussing it as like what he's doing is a terrible decision. He knows exactly what he's doing.
He knows exactly what he's doing. I'm pretty sure, because I mean he's a very smart mind, and a man of his caliber. It's impossible that he would just come up with strategies that. I mean, I'm sure he has something in mind as to why that strategy would work or not work.
But both with Trump and Elon Musk and in a sense Joe Rogan, like I said, with controversy after controversy, none of them have ever spent any dollar on advertisement. Tesla, very famously, never spent a dollar in advertisement. And how do they do it? By just saying crazy stuff again and again and again. And this is what makes me believe that Yeezy isn't crazy. He uses exactly the same techniques as these other guys, right? And every time Yeezy said something wild and outrageous is when he releases another album. Maybe he is having a mental breakdown. Maybe he is crazy, as everyone referring to. But I'll give him the benefit of the doubt, and I think that he is doing this very strategically, and he's doing this for a purpose, and is to drive engagement and drive eyeballs.
No, I think what tends to happen is with these celebrities or successful people, they will do it. They will get the attention that they want or they deserve or whatever. And then what happens is sometimes they do end up crossing the line, and they will do stuff that they don't mean to do. Like he went outrageous with the Pete Davidson thing when he was dating Kim Kardashian. He went all out, like beheading him and whatnot. Like, come on, that's a bit bizarre. And he also ended up putting that in his music video. But so I feel all of that was kind of uncalled for. So I do feel he does have maybe a dash of craziness in him.
And Pete does the same, because he just transitioned to Judaism.
Women like being raped or some shit like that. He was speaking like around the rape topic. So I just feel a lot of it was just completely insensitive and also incorrect.
So there's a few asterisks here we have to then point out, right?
Yeah.
I'm not a specialist at Andrew Tate. I'm going to push back on those three statements because, again, I haven't followed every word he said.
Yeah, even I haven't followed every single word he said.
A lot of people that when I asked them about the podcast, why do they hate him? They gave me secondhand information about things they heard from someone else.
No, I saw him speak it in the videos. So I'm speaking only from that perspective.
I don't know what the context of that in a larger piece was. There is a problem. Now we can go by one. Do men find younger women attractive? Yes. Do I believe that men should have sex with 15 and 16-year-olds? I don't know.
But you cannot say, okay, one such example would be, you cannot say a woman is meant to be in the kitchen and the man should always dominate over the woman, should always listen to whatever the guy says.
We can disagree on
as
this.
a woman, I don't think this is debatable at all, because I think it's just equality.
We can disagree on this very much. I don't think there is something like equality, first of all. People are not equal. People have different skills.
I'm talking from a gender perspective over here.
Even gender perspectives. I mean, although we are one chromosome different, that chromosome from 42 matters a hell of a lot. It's a huge difference.
But that still doesn't mean women belong in the kitchen.
I don't know what that means when people say they belong into the kitchen.
It means that women are supposed to work.
Can I take a step back?
Yeah.
Women from the media, especially from the Western perspective, have been demonized like men has treated women terribly like slaves or something like that. It's not so. You know,
it is.
It wasn't. If you look at it from a historical perspective.
Historical perspective, I know, but I'm saying current situation.
Okay, piece by piece by piece.
Yeah.
I can tell that this is very emotional fueled for you.
It is crazy.
And to me, it isn't, because for me, it's very logical. Men and women are inherently different. Men were hunters and women were gatherers. This is the baseline of it. And all this now that we have and everything that we currently possess and all these ideologies and all these notions of what is equality, what is rights, what is wrong, this is all fine because we're in a matter of what? Peace. But the moment it turns into Ukraine, things change very quickly.
Yeah.
Right? And the idea of equality and all this other stuff flies straight out the window.
Yeah.
So that's fine. We let's work with that narrative to begin with, that women are equal in some connotation. Both from an IQ and physically, they're not. Women tend to be on the average, while men tend to be on the extreme. This is as baseline science as we can get. Men tend to be either very dumb or very smart. It's very rare to find men who are in the middle. Women, on the other hand, tend to be in the means rather than in the extremes.
I know, I get what you mean. But I'm not even speaking from an anatomy point of view or biological point of view. I'm speaking in general, and I'm saying this not just from an Andrew Tate perspective. I'm saying even from an Arab or an Asian household perspective, that it is always assumed that, for example, after you get married, the woman goes to the guy's house, or it's assumed that the woman has to take care of the house, like, for example, cook for the man, and even if she's working or not, she's expected to do that. That's just there's just a mentality around that. So that is what I'm trying to say, that in no means is debatable at all.
Let's take it a step back, right? When you're saying they expect the man the woman to take care of the household.
Yeah.
Now you're taking a very specific use case and applying it cross generally, because
no, it happens. It's the majority.
Take a step back. Go back 2 generations. What were most people doing?
I'm speaking present tense.
Stop. What were most?
Why are we speaking about history?
No, let's go back 1 generation even. What were most women doing? Helping out in the farm. There was no such thing of sitting in the house or cleaning the house.
Yeah.
People were either farmers or aristocrats, basically. There wasn't a lot of like in between. There wasn't any management position.
Yeah.
you either were working in the farm or you weren't working in the farm.
Okay.
And we have now somehow turned that into a very different dialogue. Now let's use today's use case. Men tend to go in the workforce to work, and what were women doing? They weren't sitting around with their thumb up their ass. They were socializing. They were making connections. They were entertaining. They were helping the men with their career, moving forward. The idea of the household and the ownership on where the spending goes from doesn't go from the man, doesn't dictate we're buying this, that, and this. It's the woman. Majority of income comes from household income. So
I think we could actually go on and on about this for like months even, or years. But from what you're saying, I have taken a step back like you did, but I'm saying you don't I think you don't know the perspective of what goes on in the Indian community. Again, I'm saying majority.
The same is going on with the Arab community.
Yeah, even the Arabs. I've heard they're very similar. I'm saying it's just expected. Again, I'm saying present tense. I'm not talking about farmers. I'm not talking about hunters. I'm not talking about any of that. I'm just saying most of the expectation always falls on the women when it comes to taking care of the house. Now, we cannot go to our in-laws and go like, oh, do you remember the farmers and the hunters? No. Things are not like that anymore. You can't tell them that because the in-laws as well, they have also been brought up by that mentality, and now it's being thrown onto this current generation. And so it's always a mental setup. And yeah, after that, oh, get a child. But I'm not ready to get a child. I'm not saying this happens to me specifically, but I'm saying I hear it all the time, and I see my own friends going through it. It's always on the woman.
It's because we've become more of a selfish community than ever before as a society. And this is going to get more and more dangerous. Now, when you're talking about it's always on
selfish in what context over here? I don't get it.
1 second. Now, when we're talking about specifically about women's issues on this case, there's no disagreement on my behalf. Society's expectations on women are a hell of a lot higher.
Correct.
Hell of a lot higher. But that's also because now they're suddenly introduced into the workforce, which wasn't the case. By the way, in the 1940s, when women joined the workforce during the Second World War, you know what happened to salaries?
What happened?
It halved. Salaries didn't go up. That's why a single unit of a family, one person, individual, cannot support the household. That's exactly the reason why. Not because there is any other connotation or reason. Now, when you're talking about women joining the workforce to begin with, it was actually the main causation was 1, war, 2, female hygiene products, which allowed them to join the workforce. Now, when you're talking about the vote, which women got, wasn't actually initiated by the woman. It was actually initiated by the men. Women didn't want the vote because they didn't want to have the responsibility, what it carries to have the vote, which included being subscribed to war. So this connotation that we learn in history is not anywhere close to reality.
I completely get it. But of course.
Our grandparents, our parents, they weren't morons. They didn't treat I don't know how your household was, but my dad never treated my mom like a piece of shit. Some households they do.
Yeah.
But it wasn't normal.
My household was completely fine, which is why I turned out the way I am. Speaking about this in order for other women to have a voice. And I so strongly believe in that because the thing is granted, things have changed. And again, I don't care what happened in the 40s or the 50s or World War or whatever. I'm just saying it's about the current trends. Like traditions are made by dead people. Like all of those people are dead. I'm saying the society needs to grow up and open their ears and eyes to what's happening. And then basically grow with that. Not be in a cocoon.
Ever heard of the expression, hard times create hard men. Hard men create soft times, create soft men, which turns into hard times. This is a cyclical pattern in our culture. And it goes continuously on a culture. Now, you can make these statements and you can say society needs to open up and they need to hear women's voices.
Yeah.
Where in reality, when you come look at the brass grasses of it, women outweigh men on every court decision. On culturally, hiring and every angle, women get more benefits than men. This narrative that society doesn't take care of women. Are you mad? Think about...
I'm not saying they don't take care of us.
Think about what you read in the newspaper. The majority, by the way, men are also the victim and the perpetrator in rape. In rape, we're both. And when men rape other men, it is not looked at in society in any aspect. It has only become a pattern when it becomes onto women. Because why? Because men are an object of productivity, while women are an object of divinity, of something to protect, to take care of. And I completely agree what you mean.
in terms of men, in terms of even male mental health, men's mental health, or even rape, like you said, even men go through it. Agree that it's not spoken about a lot, as much as if it was a woman.
Can I just put a pin in that for one last second? Just one last point I'm going to make here. Japan has a great example of this. Now, 9 out of 10 foreigners that go to Japan, women-wise, cannot handle Japan. because Japan treats men and women totally equal.
Yeah.
And the expectations that women face in Japan, women can't handle, from the West at least. Because they go from a workforce where, you know, you have a male boss and you say you have a period and you don't come in.
Yeah.
That's fine. You have a workforce where your sales are a little lower than men, or you get to flirt a little bit in the office and hope to get better with the position with your boss, which some women do, some women don't.
Yeah.
In Japan, that doesn't exist. The work ethic of working 14 to 16 hours, that's Japan.
Yeah, got it.
So when things are truly equal, no one wants it.
No, I get it.
And it's by the way, on that topic, more on 90% of antidepressants are prescribed to who? Women. Because the expectations of society has driven literally women crazy.
Yeah, that is crazy. I mean, that's sad.
But this is what I'm saying, right? You're in a situation where you're culturally being told by your friends, be a mom, be a teacher,
Correct.
be a wife, be a household, be I don't know, go take care of yourself.
Yeah, multiple things.
Go and work. And then God forbid, if you're a full-time mom and you don't work, people look at you like you're a piece of shit.
Yeah.
Like, oh, you just stay at home, mom, eh? Oh,
Yeah.
having a great time. And most moms that I know who are full-time moms work so incredibly hard.
They do, for sure. It's just respect at the end of the day.
But this comes back to my point, right? And when you look at places like the UK that have both households working and don't have a family, like you're insinuating, or don't have a Middle Eastern Indian culture where the wife moves in with the husband's family and they're living in an apartment by themselves without any grandparents, what happens to the kids? They pay a full-time nanny to take care of them.
Yeah, they do.
So you have an average salary of 50K, 32 to 48, 32 to 62, depending on let's say London. So let's average it to 50. Each person earns 50K. Full-time nanny costs about 35 to 40K. That means you're having both people working to not spend time with their own child.
True.
In order to earn £10,000.
Yeah.
Which is
to have a nanny.
4,000 dirhams. These are the facts, but
I get what you mean.
people shut their eyes and then go, oh yeah.
No, of course. I think look, it's just that.
And this
at
is
least at
a
this
narrative
time-
that I'm making up.
No, I get it. No, I get it completely. I just think like from what I said in the beginning, I think we started this whole thing because of Andrew Tate. I think it's just respect. That's all. And just watch what you speak. I get what you mean by freedom of speech, but like at the end of the day, if you want, you can just dance middle of the road, or
That's
you
very
could kill
different.
someone.
That's also very different. That has nothing to do with the two.
No, I'm just saying having freedom. I'm just saying you should not misuse it. So are you agreeing with Andrew Tate?
When I don't know which part you're saying you agree with. I believe
Like as in the disrespectful things he says.
I think people have this connotation. It's disrespectful. I can tell you right now, with my I am not married, but if I would marry with my girlfriends, I've never let them work. Never. And with my wife,
Why?
the same. Because I truly believe someone has to be in the backup.
So you wouldn't let your wife work?
I don't think so.
Man. But I get it, to each its own.
It's not just that. I mean, my mom,
It's your thing.
My dad would feel so ashamed if my mom had to work.
Why? There's nothing to be ashamed of.
But that's culturally, it's different.
I get it.
Same with my uncle. He would not know where to put his face. Saying what, you can't provide for your family? You have to have your wife work for you? This is our culture. As an individual, I believe that you should have the right to do whatever the fuck you want.
Correct.
You should be able. If you want to take drugs, take drugs. If you want to work a full-time job, work a full-time job. If you want to be a mom, be a mom. You don't. Whatever you want, that's up to you.
Exactly.
Now, from a culture perspective, from a governance perspective, do I think it's a good idea to encourage women to go and work instead of having a family? No, I don't. I mean, we already have a problem maintaining our population. The average the average population right now is about 0.9 to 1.2, depending on which country.
Yeah.
Right? In order to maintain a population, you need to have what? A minimum of 2. That's right?
No, look, again, like I said, I get what you mean. I guess it's just to each its own.
you need to have a diverse of opinions. And some of the opinions that you don't like. I believe that transsexualism is a mental illness. I truly believe so. I think wanting to cut off your penis or cutting off your tits in order to be a gender that you're not is a mental illness. And it was so until the 1997 when they changed the medical board. Because it was listed under a neurological disorder.
I think people can do what they want to their bodies. Like plastic surgery.
I believe...
Like plastic surgery. Some people should be just... we can say they should be happy with their lips or their nose or whatever. But if it makes you feel confident to make your lips a certain way... And I'm not saying I agree or disagree to it. I'm saying like I haven't done anything to myself. So I disagree with it. I wouldn't do it. But I'm saying if someone else feels better and confident doing that, I think they should be able to do that.
You're comparing apples to pears.
How? I'm just like people should be able to do what
cutting off your penis or tying up your tubes because or getting a fake penis put on your I don't know what vagina I guess is the correct term.
I get what you mean, but have you seen the documentaries of people who've gone through sexual change?
Yes, it's. Statistically, by the way, if we look at the numbers, people don't tend to be happy going through a sex change. I think the fault rate or people wanting to change back is about 60 to 70%. 60 to 70%.
There are also people who are extremely happy doing so.
I again.
About the 60s, share that article with me. I'd love to read it.
I will. And there's been a fantastic documentary just recently. And I know you probably won't like the resource. From Ben Shapiro questioning what is a woman, where he goes and asks different societies about it. And they highlight a very, very interesting transvestite where it doesn't always turn out well, like with a boob job. You do the surgery, you have to take on the risk.
I get what you mean.
And that lady now has hair growing on her uterus. Oof. Inside. And she's been giving a terminal notice. This is something you did to yourself, to your body.
Agree. Yeah.
I don't like if from a medical surgeon perspective, if somebody comes, if I'm not a medical surgeon, but if I wasn't, somebody came to me and said, listen, I want you to remove my arm because I believe that this arm is the cause of all my bad luck. And if I would be able to remove it, I would somehow be blessed and be fortunate and I could live a life and blah, blah, blah. This is a real medical condition.
I know. No, I've seen that. It's called trans disabled or something like that.
Exactly. Now, I don't know what... I don't know what the moral implications are. If you don't remove that arm, you're likely having a person who will try to cut it off himself.
Yeah. No, I have watched a documentary like that. The guy wanted his legs chopped off because he wanted to be disabled and he did it himself. And he had to get rushed to the doctor.
I don't know what that is. I don't know how to define that. See, I don't know where to put that.
It's basically like if you get extra Botox or fillers on your lips or anywhere, right? Like some people are not happy. Like right now, most of the women who've done fillers on their lips, they're dissolving it and they don't want it anymore. So I think it just boils down to like if they want it, like if you want a burger, obviously it's not as simple as like a sex change, like removing your genitals and stuff. But I'm just saying it's kind of like if that's what makes them happy.
If you're
like transgender people,
if you're asking me, Hamid, you're in charge of the medical board, right? Which would be quite scary since I have no medical knowledge, but would ask me these questions. I would imagine it would function the same way as it functions today. Any operative surgery, which is breast enhancements or whatever, has to be reversible. This is this is borderline. This is as it gets. Now, until you can promise me or show me a way how you can go through a sex change and it's reversible, I won't agree to it. I won't.
Yeah, I get it. Yeah, but most of those are not reversible.
And a lot of there's been even famous European cases where a man has gone back and forth between two genders. And he's gone through 4 sexual reassignments and he can't find himself happy. This is the inherent problem when you take characteristics that are very feminine and very male and then say, hey, buddy, it's anyone's choice. You want to be this, you want to be that, it's all fine. You end up in a situation where people then false identify with a certain point. And to get into, because I did sociology and psychology, there's a very, very famous case called Dr. Money, where a child got where they removed the foreskin. What's that called?
Circumcision.
Got a circumcision. There was an accident that happened. They cut off his genitalia. And
oh my God. Ouch.
It's a baby. It is what it is. And they said, okay, we're just going to raise it as a girl.
What?
It's a very, very famous case study. It was called Dr. Money. And so they just told the parents, hey, you know what? Just raise it a girl, blah, 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 blah. The doctor was in charge of it, used that as his research subject. It's a very, very famous case. And the daughter's son claimed in the interviews that she inherently knew there was an issue. She never wanted to be in dresses. She never wanted to play with dolls. Her parents would force her to feminize him.
I get it, yeah.
And she even brought him to the doctor who recommended the treatment, and would have her and her brother be naked and take pictures and then show it to her and be like, this is a boy, this is a girl, you're a girl, seeing if he can somehow change that individual. And when they became 18, they just felt so uncomfortable and so wrong, and something wasn't matching up. They did a DNA test. They found out they were a boy. They sued the hell out of the doctor. She went for sex reassignment surgery, and she was incredibly traumatized, or he's incredibly traumatized by that experience. But it shows. Oh my God,
ouch.
Gender is more than genitalia. Your
of
DNA
course it
has a large portion of who you are.
But I think it is for that person. Like for him, it is like he felt that like for him. But I'm saying there are a sect of people who don't feel comfortable in their own bodies. Now, why? I don't know. It could be something psychological, or it could be the way they were raised.
I think it's a mental illness. I think JFK once famously said, "There's an epidemic of retards in this country."
When it comes to someone else, I'm like, okay, fine, do what you want. Like, it's your life. If it doesn't concern me or doesn't affect me, just do what you want.
Interesting.
Yeah, I've been hated a ton.
And if people want to follow you, how would they do that?
On Instagram.
Yeah? Go on.
Naomi _D'Souza.